One of the great yogis I was with in India would say that there's only two things happening here. You're either meditating, your attention is meditating on the things of this world, or your attention is concentrating and meditating and going within. And I totally agree with that. In fact, to me, Stillpoint is a way that I perpetually keep my attention not getting distracted in the outgoing sense things and objects of this world. Physical objects, emotional objects, psychic objects, all those things are all the same. They're just objects. And I tell you, every day here is they say, many of the great yogis say, every day is a battle. It's a battlefield every day. I totally agree with that. Every day there are a lot of things. Some days not so many things. Some days a lot of things are threading and going in different directions. And how we handle those different things. In our seminars we call these things. You know, things that come up, an issue, this. And most importantly to me is how every day we make sure that we are here. Even if you get threaded around, even if you get knocked around. Today was a strong day. A lot of stuff didn't seem to be going. They were going in lots of different directions. And yet, that's okay. The key is, can we make it back here? Amidst all of those rapids and the turbulence of what's happening here on this planet right now, can we arrive, come here, expand this space? That's the key. For me, at least, in my journey, that's the key. That's what, to me, makes me feel, oh, wow, this is nice. So practice this. I tell people this is not just something that kind of happens. For me, I spent many, many years practicing this. And when I was young, I was practicing this. I went to college, during and after college, I spent many years meditating 10, 15 hours a day. Spent many years in different yogic practice. Not yoga postures, I did practice of cultivating, reversing the sense faculty. In fact, many of the things I do nowadays are my outer practice of what I do every single moment in my life. So on that note, I want to touch in, and let's start with a process real quick. Everyone try something. Everyone take a nice focus and just hold right here. To me, this is like key. This is like the first step in Stillpoint is being able to get here. That's the first key piece to the Stillpoint process, is being able to get here to this place we call Stillpoint. Most people that have been to our events, it's easy. The second key step, I call it fluffing up the field. And the key to this is hold this space. I liken it to if you hold it right here. It's kind of like if you put a nozzle up to the tire and you put it there. And if you go to one side, it goes out. If you go to the other side, if you go right in the middle with care, the tire starts to fill in. You got to hold it there with just the right, not too much, not too loose, with just the right. That's what I do when I come here. When I say focus, I just come here and I'm just holding it here. And as I'm holding it here, this field, I can feel it right now, this field is fluffing up. I've attuned perception to the neutral phase state, which is the universe, by the way. The oscillations here of planet Earth and all the elements, those are all oscillatory states induced by our spin state of the planet. The planet has a spin state. That spin state steps down energy into matter. So if you're in the bubble of our planetary field and in our star system, which is a step down, you know, you have the galactic step down, then you have the stellar step down, then you have the planetary step down. Physical, astral, psychic bodies. These are the different bodies that compress relative the condition of energy, pure energy, but consciousness down into matter. And if you're in this state, you either are that state or you can kind of slow it down and say, we're going to slow down the spin states of the physical, of the stellar, astral, of the cosmic. Why? When we slow down that spin state, what do? We invite the neutral energy that's beyond and that threads all of those states into our field. Right there, as I was holding that state, something shifted. I took a breath. I tell people, notice, we call it Stillpoint response, when your body takes a breath and shifts. For me, there was a shift that happened a moment ago, and my field is now fluffed open. In other words, I'm not holding that state anymore. I'm not holding that space. I'm not holding still point. I'm not, right now, this still point, this field, the quantum field, we call quantum field, is fluffed open, now it's holding me. And this is the key. This is the second step in the still point process. First step, dropping in. Second step, the more you drop in, it fluffs open the field. I tell people every day, cultivate this field. Just like every day you cultivate your body. Well, what do you do with the body? You cultivate it. You get it clean. You get it dressed. You make sure it's all looking good and everything's in the right place. You fluff it up. Basically, people fluff up their bodies to make them look as good as they can. Well, what I'm saying is, yeah, you want to do that, but don't put all your attention on that, because that's a short-lived condition. You know, it looks good one day, next day it doesn't look good. You know, you're here on planet Earth, then, you know, it's don't put all your attention on that. Do a little bit on that, and fluff up and care for this. This field exists beyond the physical. And the more you fluff it up and cultivate it, is to me the key faculty that I'm drawn to experiencing here at this moment on planet Earth as we enter this new season on planet Earth. It's very relative to this new season. All right, so you'll see now I'm just resting in this state. For me, you rest in this state for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. You start to cultivate this, and I make it sound really easy, like you just hold it and it puffs open. Well, in my life, I do it a lot. In fact, I'm often in meetings or I'm doing different things, and I slow down a moment. I just kind of hold until it fluffs open. So for me, it fluffs open fairly fast because I am doing it a lot. All right, that's the second step. The third step, third step in the still point process. Everyone go ahead and try squeezing the root at the base of the spine. We call it the sacred muscle. Just squeeze that muscle. And by the way, the second part has a number of little subtle things, like when the field is open, how do you look around and clear things? Emotions, beliefs, injuries, whatever's in this field, we have to understand how to go up to it, how to find that wave structure, and then collapse it. That's really what we're doing. The essence of everything we're doing here today is we're finding and in the previous live stream, is we're finding things that have some oscillatory rate. We're basically inducing them to go through their full oscillatory range, and then to collapse and phase shift into the neutral state. That is the relativity. This, like our planet, has an oscillatory rate, then it collapses, it dissolves, and when it goes neutral, whoosh, it goes back to the universal state and beyond. So anything in the expression of this creation, of this experience, has come down from that state of pure energy through these different states. And so the return process is to reestablish flexibility, integrity to that oscillatory range state, so that things have full range of flexibility to return back to the neutral state from whence all things come. At least that's how I experience things. Don't mean to. To me, that's just the natural situation. And if we are versed in that process, which of course we are, and of course we should be, because we've come through the process. It'd be akin to jumping into the water and you go into the water. Well, if you want to go back out of the water, guess what? You got to move through the water, and then you got to pop back up and come back up to above the water. Same thing with the process of coming into manifestation here. Come through these different states, and so that's what we're doing, welcoming things, finding them, and collapsing. And we do it with perception, we do it with our lasers, our Wi-Fi, all the technologies. We do have this subtle wave structure state that goes like this, scalar, and then dissolves into the scalar. Full wave state, into the scalar. Everything I do and make, to me, I do with that. Because to me, that's what's happening here. And if you don't do that, then you're confined to the condition of the oscillatory condition. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong. There's no wrong with that. It's just if you can't return it back to neutral, then it's limiting. Again. Now squeeze the root. Squeeze the root. The muscle, the same muscle you used to go to the restroom. Squeeze it gently in, and then out, and then in. And right there, usually I say go out, but for me it set in. See if you notice in between the in and out, same muscles used to go resting gently. For me, it just locked right in. It just set right in. And when I tell you, when it sets into neutral, again, what did we do? We went through the oscillatory range, positive, negative, in, out, and then it landed in this state. Yogis, Taoists say it's like holding an egg. Not too tight or you crush, not too loose or you drop. Well, as I'm holding here in this state, energy started flowing straight up the spine for me. We call this activation, where the scalar energy, the staff of life, I used to call this staff of life protocol, which is a good name for it. It's about activating the energy along the spine, the scalar energy. You hold this root and the energy flows up. For me, right away it went right up into here. Again, for me, I cultivate this every day. I cultivate this. In fact, every day I drop in Stillpoint, not because I like resting here like this so much. I do it because that's the doorway to induce this energy up along the spine. And as soon as I squeeze and hold this, the other plexuses line up along the spine, energy flows up and goes right up here. The reason I do this part is not because energy flowing up is so exciting. It's nice, I like it. Yet what's exciting is when the gland's here, what many yogis and mystics call the ambrosia. I call it ambrosia. They call it in India Amrita, fountain of youth, elixir of life. Carl Jung called it secret of the golden flower. The DMT, the subtle nectar glands open up. And so for me now, I'm just holding this root, the energy's flowing up. It feels very subtle, like a bliss wave of energy flowing up the spine. As it comes up the spine, it kind of goes here, the saliva starts to open. And for me, this is why I endure all the things here on planet Earth. I let all the things kick me around a bit. It's okay, it's fine. And then I have a moment where I say, oh, isn't this nice? See, the problem here on planet Earth is not a lot of people are cultivating this condition. The sense objects here, yogis say, are very attractive. People get snared up and very into the things that are happening here. And yet, if this is, to me, way more attractive, you can't compare the subtle bliss. And so, as with all good things, you got to work to get here. You got to go through all that little stuff. It's okay. And then I get here, and it's like, well, big deal. So what? So there's a lot of stuff. So our planets, all these different plays and dramas are going on here. Those are just the outer phenomena. All right, good. But this part we call ambrosia process. And this is the key. This is the essence of why, this is the essence to me. This is how we flower the essence of our reality. All traditions discuss this. If you study, every tradition talks about this subtle release. It happens in meditation. It happens in deep contemplation. It happens in the wilderness. It happens in the cave. It happens under the tree. When you sit for extended period and you cultivate this. To me, I again make it seem like, oh, it's such an easy thing. I spent my entire life cultivating this. Years where my only goal was to cultivate and doing different practices to cultivate this. The blessing right now on our planet is that we are going through huge shifts in this new season, which is changing the dimensional structure and making it much easier for people who want to quickly navigate and open to these higher dimensional and non-dimensional conditions of the energy of the universe. It's the energy of the universe that induces, just like it's the sun that induces the flower to open up and go like this, in the same way it's this neutral energy essence that induces the physical body to soften, to ripen, and ultimately to flower up into these yogis call them ecstatic and indescribable experiences. And as I hold here, I just squeezed the root again, energy came up and the heart started to open up. Just like a flower, it's exactly like a flower. So good, this is the Stillpoint process. For folks that have been to our retreats, at our retreats we usually spend 3-4 days, some 2 days, some 3, some 4 days cultivating this. How to rest here, how to open the field, how to move in your life, navigate your life from the field, how to clear things, how to open to abundance and manifestation from the field. The alchemy, and then we have movement process that kicks in how to cultivate and activate your physical structure so it stays here. And then diet detox, all of these different things, how to use laser, all of these things weave together for me as tools to cultivating this subtle experience of dissolution, expression, and inhabiting this state of subtle consciousness. All right. On that note, let's shift gears. I want to do one very simple protocol. So simple, I'm not exactly sure what it is. Let's do one protocol. Pick a program. I just picked Unity. Unity, some of the alchemy programs that I like and use a lot are Activate and Unity. So let's do a simple protocol. I'm going to start at the root. This is a plexus. I call this the plexus protocol, where we open the different... yogis say that each region along the spine has a different plexal region, not chakra. The chakra is part of it, yet there's a plexal nerve concentration or bundle, is how it translates, at each region along the spine. And so I often will take the laser, and each of these areas, I'm going right over the root at the base. I'm holding right down at the base over the root. I'm on Unity, it feels really good, and I'm just waiting, like right there I can feel at the base, it starts to kind of squeeze a little bit like this. I can feel it pulse a little bit. Well, what is that pulse? That pulse is the same well, most of the things I work on, when I go, I find a program, and I whether it's an injury, whether it's an organ, whether it's something else, and I'm looking for when do I feel a slight, and the same thing when I do a session in groups, where I'm looking, when do I see their rhythm pulse? And then it starts to kind of dissolve back into that neutral. That's the same thing I look for. So I'm now over the root plexus. I could feel it pulse a little bit, and now it's kind of expanding. It pulsed a little bit, now it's kind of expanding out. And each of these plexuses, yogis say that each plexus is like, your spine is like a highway, and then each plexus is like a little town. You know, so you got one town that's the capital, one town's where all the businesses are. You know, one town you have this. And so you go along the highway and you get off at these different exits, which are the in between the spine. And then the nerves go to that area, and guess what? They innervate the different functions that are happening in that particular region. So in the yogic system, and the way I approach health in many respects, is each plexal region of the body governs a different kind of function and system and area of your experience, your physical experience, and also your consciousness experience. And so I'm over the root, base, plexus. It feels great. So now, after I did that for a moment, now I'm just going to kind of expand it out a little bit. So I went there, kind of felt this, and now I'm just expanding it out a little bit until it opens. Whenever I do this, I kind of go until, I like to open things into the whole field. So we open the field before the process, and my goal is I want to open it's kind of like, I liken it to on the computer, you know, if you open, you got a little icon. You got your icons and like, oh, I want to do this thing. You go and you click on it and it goes like this for a moment. It's the exact same thing. There's so many amazing, in any event. So it goes like this and then whoosh, it opens and fills the whole screen in. Well, that's basically the same thing I'm doing here. I'm going to this plexus and I'm saying, oh, great, you know, you've been in your contained little state. Boom, let's activate you. So it starts pulsing and then opens up into the whole field, which really is opening up back into the energy of the universe. Great, now I'm going to the second plexus region. First one is like your root, it's like your base, it's like your connection to physical, to the planet. If that one's locked up and the energy's not open, relaxed, and at ease there, well, guess what? You're probably going to not have a great experience on planet in terms of feeling secure, feeling like you're at home here in your body, feeling like you have good relationships and situation with economics and this kind of thing. The root is key for feeling at ease on planet Earth. Health. You don't feel like your body's having good health in your body. Well, any of those kind of situations is a reference that, hey, maybe you should do some work to open up the root. Okay, so now I'm on the second one. Second one is right here. I feel as I'm doing it here, I feel a little pulse again. I'm still on Unity. It feels really good. I'm going to pull back a little bit. The second one is really about how we connect to things. Other people, relationships, how we handle emotions, sexuality. I'm just moving around a little bit here. And as I do, kind of naturally opens, shifts. That feels great. We're in an area in California where, for me, we got here a day ago, and energy's been very like, and I attribute it to fault lines or any number of other kinds of things. Military, there's a lot of military in this area, and so this for me is great. I just open this up, and it's like, wow, isn't that nice? Second chakra is a lot about also what we're doing in the world. What are we doing? How are we interfacing with others and with community? All right, good, good. You can do this in the back occasionally too. So again, I just opened it right up into there. Now I'm going to the third plexus. This is a key one right now. This is where a lot of healers and folks say that our people are kind of gravitating here, collectively. They say it has a lot to do with power and control and the thinking apparatus. Many traditions call this the bridge. This is about how we exert who we are, how we do that dance between being our individual experience and being connected to a larger thing, whatever that thing is, whether it's family or community or the universe. Well, the next chakra, plexus, is the heart. And so a lot of folks say that it's key to unwind. This one, again, just kind of going pulsing like this. Now it's going expanding. So you'll see everything I work on, I wait till I get a little pulsing action, and then I open it till it expands, starts to dissolve and expand. This is a really good one. A lot of people I work with, this is really locked up. And the benefit of opening this one is that then energy can now flow and reside more in the heart. So again, this one, third plexus, really key. This one's really key for breathing. It's really key for digestion. It's really key for good function of the pancreas and the other organs. There's a whole plethora of organs that surround this area. So when this is open, it is huge for the blood. It's just really, really important area. A lot of people are kind of locked up here, so opening it is very, very profound. Collectively, our whole people, we should put programs through TV that collectively open this. All right, good. As that one opens, next I come to the fourth plexal region, the heart. And right away, this one for me didn't do a pulse. I went there and it's just kind of already kind of going like this. This one's key. If more of our people can come to residing here, I tell you, we're going to see much more cooperation and group process and less drama and love and compassion and understanding and sharing. There's so many good things ahead of us when we collectively start to move in and from this place and this region. It's great. That feels really nice and great. And as I'm doing the heart right now, this region right now, I tell you, this is how powerful this is. When this area opens, and I feel energy coursing up the spine. You see, what happens with the energy in the body is often people will come up here, and when they get up to here, this kicks in the brain, and the brain starts doing. It's kind of like that whack-a-mole game. It starts coming where it's going to start opening up into the unity and into the love and compassion, and the inner critic goes, no, and it whacks it down. Or the judgment, say, this is nonsense, boom, it whacks it down. Or the you're not good enough, you don't deserve, it whacks it down. So all of those different programs that people run, they call unconscious programming. Understand when you're being criticism, judgment, frustration, any of those different programs that people run, and everybody here runs them. All it is whack-a-mole knocking down the energy that's trying to flow up the spine. And it's good that it's making up here, so don't get beat up and feel like you're a bad person or this, or don't project it out to everything else. Just say, okay, great, welcome, thank you. And cultivate this opening so the energy can flow. As this opens, guess what? It now connects, this opens and is great. All right, good. I just changed to a program called Cohere for a moment. I had the sense, Wave was feeling good, yet I felt like Cohere. And this one's totally now open, expanded out into the field. By the way, this same principle that I'm doing on these plexuses, you can do this with anything. Pick an organ, go through an organ, unwind it till it opens up into the field. You'll see a lot of the protocols I do, once I unwind them and open them, whether it's an injury, whether it's an organ, whether it's a digestion, I unwind it, and then eventually I almost thread it open it up into the field. Okay, great. Throat. Key plexus. This is key. Many traditions say the ether happens here. The elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Fifth element. This one is key. Ether is key. This is key for our sharing who we are in the world. Being fulfilled in our experience of what we're doing, what we're sharing, our work. Being real. This is a wonderful, this area when this opens is very, very powerful. It opens the lymph, it opens up the alchemy. It's very, very powerful area. So powerful, I'm not having any more words. All right, good. And it opens right up into the larger field process. See, really the field is a portal. This is a portal. And when I do things, it's the portal back to the universe. So I just say, oh, come on, let's get you into the portal. It's like a Stargate, with the portal, sort of. All right, so that's the throat. Now I'm coming up here into this area right here. For me, again, some plexuses just go and open. This one is key to me. A lot of traditions say that when these other plexuses are balanced, they say it's like a candle, the consciousness. If all these are too busy, all the elements and all these things are busy, going, flipping, flopping, then this doesn't really open. If each of these balanced, nice, cultivated, then this starts to open. Perception, subtle, still point, essence opens. Squeeze the root right there. The root done a squeeze for me. Energy started flowing up the spine. Saliva started opening up, which they say the saliva is loaded up with DMT and all these sacred compounds that put the yogi into a state of bliss. Samadhi. All right, good. This one now opens up into that's good. I tell you, whatever tools you have, whether you do it with some practice or whatever you can do every day, get here. Take a look at the things that happen. They call introspection, yet introspection, don't think about the introspection. Go in and find the things that haven't worked and dissolve them, clear them, shift them. All right, good. That's a good one. So now, last one, top plexus, top of the crown plexus is good too. As soon as I go here, it starts expanding out. I tell you, the more you get versed in Stillpoint response, all Stillpoint responses, things start to move a little bit, then they start to expand and open out. In my life, whether I'm using laser or not, I go around and something, it has a Stillpoint response. If it doesn't, that's when I'm usually saying, well, what's going on here? What are we looking? I'm exploring to see when I do something, this happens. When I find that thing, usually it manifests and opens up some new thing, some amazing thing, like this new membership site, this new training portal we're going to be doing. Everything I manifest when I do it, I find and I open up the space and let whatever's coming in arrive. All right, good. So this one, again, now opening up into larger state of the field. Many traditions call this is kind of a very special place for a lot of traditions. They call the lotus. Here. Many traditions refer to this in different ways as a lotus, and when this lotus opens, all of these other plexuses, the chakras, the different petals and plexuses they're all in. This is like the top bead, they call it and this, when it opens, all the petals, it opens up all these. And I always tell people, to me, the Stillpoint process is a new unfolding expression in the new season. And to me, this new season, we're opening up to a new flow form of how consciousness flows into expression. A whole new relativity. That's why I tell people, don't focus on even the traditions from the healing systems and traditions and from the last season. Don't focus on those necessarily. Apply the principle, yet open up to the opening and the expression of this new moment, this new expression of what's happening here on this planet. That's what this work is totally dedicated and devoted to, is the opening and flowering of this wonderful new expression in this new season. Good. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. It's a lovely process. This is exactly where what is, and I appreciate anyone who's tuning into this and participating. It's a wonderful moment here on planet Earth. For folks in our network, we have an event happening here shortly, so I was going to share a little more, but we'll do some more live streams coming up soon. I send much love and aloha to everyone. Take moments. Drop in. Even after a lot of fancy process, I still come in right here. I reset. I don't jump to go interact with people all in this state because people have no reference how to interface. I reset it. I come back here.